And there's
Not me.
most
I got this and I got a broom. Okay? I am not an evolutionist. I believe in creation. There is a God. And one day we're all going to meet him. But I do believe in the evolution of the floor man. Because you started out in the corners, didn't you? Right?
Yeah.
All right. You scrape and your hand rubbing. And one day the boss says, hey, come here, run Shorty. So you get to get up a little bit, right? Oh, now you're making them monkey noises, right? Oh, I got a little higher. And eventually you get to run up to the buffer, and eventually you stand up and run the big machine. That's the evolution of the floor man. That's how it works. But my boss didn't give me this thing first. He taught me on the big machine, and I had to earn the right to run Shorty.
What?
I had to earn the right to run Shorty. You can move more damage with Shorty than you can with the big machine.
Yeah, it's
This will
true.
make or break a job.
It's true.
How many times you say, well, everything looks good, but along the walls?
It's
Put your
true.
best man on Shorty. When I was running, I had 5 guys and myself. Me and Joey did all the edging. Best 2 guys. I wasn't going to have a job get rejected because we didn't edge right. Now, I edge a little different than most folks. So we'll get into that. But maintenance on these have motor brushes in there. When I say a brush, it's not like a brush like comb your hair brush. It's a carbon brick, basically, that sits against a commutator face, and electricity is carried through that into the armature, generates a magnetic field, makes that sucker turn really fast. That's what it does. The brushes will wear. They're good for around 600 to 700 hours. This manufacturer's got an hour meter on it, right?
Yes.
Okay? So you can tell. Now, in my case, that's that good English, you know? Sorry about that, ain't got. Once you get that good English, can't nobody take it from you. We ain't got no meter on this one. So we got in the habit of checking our brushes every 3 months. When the brushes are half worn, you replace it. But here's the thing you got to understand. It's not half of the whole, like if this is a 1-inch brush, 1/2 is not half. Because there's only a certain amount of that that's actual wearable. So really, 1/4 of an inch worn is half worn, meaning it's half of the working life is gone. So you don't wear it down to where it's a half inch. Basically, imagine that thing in quarters. So you're going to wear a half of the working life down, and that's around 700 hours. That's got a meter. You can keep tracks on it. This one here, about every 3 months, you're going to check it. I literally, and I'm not exaggerating, 4,000 foot job. That thing there is 26 gallons of dust. I started at 7 a.m. and I quit at 8 o'clock that night. I had 4,000 feet 2 times in one day. I stopped it long enough to go to pee and change paper. I don't smoke a cigarette. That's the best time to get a cigarette break, ain't it? Gotta change paper, boss. Killing me. Once you get rolling with this thing, don't stop. You're gonna hurt. You're gonna be sore. You're gonna be deaf. You're gonna have your iPod on repeat. You're probably gonna hear the same song 10 times. But you gotta stop that dude, give him a breath, change tape, because he's gonna run out of breath eventually. So you gotta just get her done. But you gotta find the right position. Now what I found to do, if you watch me walk, I walk a little funny. Y'all can laugh at me, it's okay. I have an artificial hip. When I run a sander, there's something about my gait that changes. I don't know what it is. When I run the edger, I find the most comfortable position I can get in, and then I'll work that position for a while. Then I'll get down on a 1 knee, then I'll get on 2 knees. I'll change that repetitive motion all the time. Before I start getting Shorty, I stretch. What does a professional athlete do? Right? On the wall, doing all this stuff. What do you think Shorty's doing to your body? It's eating it up, man. So stretch. Make sure you take the time to get your back stretched out, get your hands and your muscles down here to your feet bone, and the feet bone's next to your ankle bone. I ain't no doctor, I don't know all the phrases. But get them broke free. So I'll start here. By the time I'm done, I can put my hands, as fat as I am, I can put my hands flat on the floor. All right? You want to be able to do that. You want to be able to stretch out like that because you're going to be in this position for 5-6 hours. All right? Get down on one knee. Get down on both knees. The whole key to any time you're going to edge is you want to be able to run this thing with one hand. You want to be able to feel the floor to make sure it's nice and flat. Is that vacuum plugged in? I'm going to edge a little bit, and then I'll have you show how to edge with yours. You're going to have to get a smaller hose, so I got a 2-inch hose on here. Hey Mike Farrell, I need a Cab 100 plug. Okay, while he's coming, I'm going to tell you a couple things. Understand where the edger cuts. Just like the big machine, it has a place. You want the big machine to cut a flat 8-inch pad, right? If you look at this pad, how much of that sandpaper do you think hits the floor at any time?
Very little.
Very little. Okay, you can see it there. About the size of a quarter. That's all that hits the ground at any time. Okay? If you put this thing perfectly flat on the ground, you couldn't control it. It has a pitch to it so that you can control that thing. Take a handheld grinder and try to grind flat. It's going to jump all over, right? You tilt it up a little bit, you can control it. Same thing here. You've got to identify where it's scratching at. Once you identify where it's scratching at, now he's got a piece of tape on his, that thing's cutting at about 1 o'clock. I don't know where this one's cutting at. Excuse me, there's some beans coming back up. This one's cutting over here at 11:30. I want to verify that piece of tape. Y'all see the dominant scratch right there? While this over here is starting to feather. We got to use that to our advantage. Okay? That's 10 to 12 pounds of head pressure right there. That's all there is. I'm going to take this, and how many times you see guys do this little J pattern?
Yeah.
Okay?
All the time.
All right? And they have to go back and get it flat. And they have to go back and hand rub. I do it a little different. I'm going to run the machine side to side the whole time. And everybody's like, dude, you're going across the grain. I'm like, nope. Because I know where that's cutting at, right? Where's my dominant scratch gone? With the grain, right?
Right.
What's the best way to get a floor flat?
With the grain.
Cross it on a 45, right? What am I doing when I hit that seam? 45 in it, all right. So I can get this floor flatter, faster, just by doing this one little technique. This is years of bending over it. When you messed up with Daniel, he would send your butt to the truck. I ain't joking. He said, boy, go sit in the truck. And you're like, what? I'm like, go sit in the truck.
But the door is locked.
And think about what you did. You go out there pissed off. You're sitting in that seat like that. Sent me to the truck. What a jerk. I didn't think that bad. Then you go next emotion. It's kind of like getting divorced, you see. Not that I've been divorced, but next emotion is, you go, I guess I did mess up a little bit. Then you get into this sad, oh man, I wish I didn't do that. Now the boss is mad at me, you know. And then all of a sudden you're like that Pekingese dog that's at the shopping center, at the windows. Let me in, boss. Let me in. I got to figure it out. Let me in. That's exactly what it took me that long to figure it out. I spent a lot of time in the truck. I'll tell you how to stop the man from sending you to the truck. Eat his lunch. He won't send you to the truck. He won't send you to the truck. We're going to talk about it. When you go to the big machine, you go down and back. That's how you operate it. Forward is rough. Coming back is clean. Same thing with this. I'm going to go down and back in the same path. So what you're going to get is I'm going to come down. I'm going to come back. I'm going to drop down about 1/4 inch. I'm going to go down, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to drop down about 1/4 inch. I'm going to go down and go back. That's the way I do it. Rough cut, clean it up. Rough cut, clean it up. What you're going to notice is I go forward slow, quick back. Forward slow, quick back. Okay? We're going to need some hair plugs here. Huh? Is that over there? Yeah. Straight over that one. I want y'all. The reason I want you to try the earplugs now, I want y'all to hear the difference. We're sanding pine. This got a lot of pitch in it. This is gonna speed up and slow this machine down. So when I'm doing this, while you're watching me, I want you to put your earplugs in, then take one of them out after you hear it run, once it gets quiet. And then listen to it. Tell me you can't tell the difference. This machine will talk to you, man, I'm telling you. It will speak volumes to you.
What grid is that?
That's 80 grid. New construction, let's say I just installed like we did here, I cut this whole floor with one grid.